The first time I heard about Cixin Liu's a three-body problem, I was randomly watching a recap of Dune's lore by Quinn's Ideas here on YouTube. As the next video played from his channel, I saw it was about the Dark Forest, which is book 2. This body of work is probably like some of the best science fiction stuff I've read in a long time. I feel like I've actually gained brain cells from reading this. I decided to read more of his work. This led me to his book Ball Lightning, which I learned was actually a prequel to the Three-Body Problem series. Shout out to my boy Ding Yi. After that, I naturally gravitated to The Wandering Earth, which I actually thought was an entire book about that story because I saw the movie that was based on the book. But it's actually a collection of short stories that he's written over the years. One of those short stories really stood out to me. It was such an interesting take on science fiction media. I've actually never read some of that before besides, Three-Body, and it was called The Devourer. I would soon find out that this story was part of a hidden mini-universe that I've dubbed the DinoVerse. I'm really making this video to bring more fans of Liu's work to his short stories, especially this dinosaur universe. So take this video as an unofficial guide to the DinoVerse. Alright, so now we're getting into spoiler territory. So if you're not trying to get spoiled, I suggest you dip out now or maybe skip ahead or some shit. But this whole video is going to be like spoilers for a few short stories. So, it's definitely not going to take away from the value of the story. So I would suggest anyway to just read it. So really, the DinoVerse starts with a short story called The Cretaceous Past, which was originally part of the Wandering Earth story collection, but it was actually removed from the 2017 release of the book. Cixin Liu rewrote the story into like a bigger book with the same name, but I'll briefly go over both of them out of respect for his work. So the original story, according to my research, was only similar in that it's about dinosaurs, yes, but the key difference is that humans from the future travel back in time to the Cretaceous period and influence dinosaurs to become an advanced civilization in hopes of stopping them from becoming extinct in the future. Unfortunately, time travel antics are at play here, so the dinosaurs ultimately ended up being doomed regardless of human intervention. Sounds pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, the retelling is much better in my opinion. I'm really not a fan of the human intervention and savior complex here, but to each his own. Now the retelling of the story is a lot more interesting as it removes humans from the equation entirely, but still deals with dinosaurs achieving advancement. There is one other key player here though, and that is the ants. So pretty much ants and dinosaurs help each other achieve advancement by fulfilling what each species needed to get to the next step in evolution. The dinosaurs lacked the dexterity in their huge claws to further develop technology, while the ants lacked diversity of thought, having a very machine hive-like system, which also stunted their growth. So pretty much the ants helped the dinosaurs develop by essentially being their hands somewhat, while the dinosaurs helped the ants by introducing diversity of thought. Yeah, so that was like the catalyst. Eventually time goes on and their society achieves like the equivalent to like rudimentary space travel. There is so much detail in this story and I refuse to spoil it all, so I won't be giving the reasons for the wars. If you guys want me to go over it in a separate video, I'm down for that, but right now, for the sake of time, I'll be brief. Yeah, so the dinosaurs pretty much start acting like humans of today, like killing each other and going to war with each other over like nothing, which unfortunately ultimately led to the extinction of both advanced civilizations. The ants tried to stop them, but it was too late. Now the story pretty much says the dinos were wiped out and the ants survived, but lost all their advancements they made. In my own headcanon, the ending of the story ties directly to the story of the Devourer, though it was not directly stated that the dinosaurs escaped. If they had the means of space travel, I'm sure we can speculate that some of them did escape the cataclysm. In The Devourer, we're back in the perspective of the humans of Earth. They're visited by a being who recently had his planet destroyed by a world-eating ship that's shaped like a tire. The ship would go around the planet it wants to eat and essentially strip the planet of its resources from the outside, which in turn helps the ship grow. So it's like a generational ship kind of thing. The being comes to Earth to warn humanity of the ship and tells them that it's coming to eat the Earth next. When the tire ship enters the solar system, they send an emissary to greet humanity. His name is Fangs. This dude is probably my favorite person in this entire story. His demeanor and the way he develops as a character is quite interesting. His species are a giant lizard-like race who suspiciously have carbon-based lifeform features. You know, like eyes, noses. They can breathe the air with no issues on Earth. So yeah, bro Fangs is pretty much like, yo, who's your leaders? And he meets with the UN. He tells them what's going on, like, we're gonna eat your planet. You know, there's not much you can do about it. But as far as the fate of humanity, you know, you guys can survive as livestock for us, but I need to figure out if you taste good or not. So bro like grabs a UN official, chews bro up, he chews him up whole and spits his clothing out, like without the clothing being destroyed. So, you know, he's pretty adept at eating things. Yeah. Also, it's going to take about 100 years for the tire to eat the entire Earth. So they're going to be living with humanity for a while. So at this point, we can kind of see where things are going. Long story short, humanity fights back in an epic space battle. Fangs comes back to talk to the humans who fought back, like the general and all. I forgot to mention the character, and there's like this colonel or general that's like leading the whole humanity charge. But again, spoilers. I don't want it to be too heavy on the spoilers. Anyway, so yeah, he comes back to talk to homie and his troops, and he's just like, yeah, man, you know, you guys were amazing, but I have to tell you that my species are actually dinosaurs. The next story in this DinoVerse is actually called A Cloud of Poems, or the Poetry Cloud, depending on the translation. It's a direct sequel to The Devourer. It takes place about 200 years after the events of The Devourer and follows my boy Fangs, aka Big Tooth, in the story. So yeah, Fangs is like hype as hell because there's like this god of technology that's come to the solar system, and he wants him to give the Devourer Empire his technology and his secrets so that they can advance as a species. So he decides to gift this god of technology a human from their livestock. By the way, this human's name is Yi. Fangs approaches this god of technology with Yi, and he's like, I've got a gift for you. This guy's one of our prized humans. And the technology god is just like, I don't want this bug. I know about humanity already. They suck. They're not even like advanced or whatever. And, you know, Yi is just like, we've done all this and that. We're such a great species. And our civilization was great. And the god laughs and he's just like, oh, civilization? You don't know anything about civilization. Go ahead, Fangs. Tell him about what civilization is. So Fangs goes on to glaze. Oh, to be considered a civilization on a cosmic scale, you need to be able to reach to at least 6 dimensions. And he goes on to glaze some more and say, oh, well, the technological god here, his society can reach to 11 dimensions, and then place himself by saying, oh, but our society, the dinosaurs, can only reach to about 4 dimensions in controlled environments. So yeah, Fangs is about to throw Yi in the garbage, and some poems fall out of his pocket. The technological god sees the poems and he becomes interested. He's like, oh, what is this? Oh, I've never seen this. What are these poems? What is this? He's like, oh, this is poetry. He's like, oh, this is amazing. Great, I've never seen this, but you're still trash. Throw them away, Fangs. Essentially what happens at this point, I don't want to drag this on too long, but essentially what happens at this point is that Yi challenges the god of technology to surpass human spirit and ingenuity, claiming that technology can never match the essence of poetry. Doesn't matter how advanced it is. The god takes this challenge up after some more yapping, and he essentially clones a human body. So yeah, bro goes on to live as a human, having sex with chicks and eating like a human, cooking like a human, drinking like a human, getting drunk, all that good stuff, just to have an experience to tell original poetry. And he realized that he cannot Yi laughs at him and says, yeah, you can't do it, bro. And he's just like, actually, there is a way to do it still using technology. So he pretty much is just like, yeah, I'm going to create a giant cloud of poems that tells every poem that could ever be created in the entire universe. And to store all these poems, I'm going to need to create a giant hard drive type device in space. I know it sounds crazy, but this is what he's saying. And he's just like, yeah, I'm going to need a lot of data, a lot of material to make this giant poetry cloud using a quantum computer. God. So essentially he's like, yeah, I'm just going to use the entire solar system, including the Devourer Empire. So Fang's hard tripping. And he's like, nah, bruh, you can't do this. Come on, this is crazy. Essentially, dinosaurs get mad. They try to fight the god of technology, but that doesn't work. And he essentially uses the entire solar system, destroys everything. But his love for humans, in the end, had him recreate the Earth using materials. But this time the Earth is hollow, and there's a sun inside the Earth, a hollow Earth theory. I'm sure you guys have heard of that, maybe. And some of the dinosaurs that survived the battle with the god, they live on Earth now with humans, and they're equal. And that is the end of that story.
Destiny is technically the first story in the DinoVerse, as it was written in 2001. It's not directly connected to the other two stories, lore-wise. So in this story, we follow two humans from a distant future. Humans have achieved light-speed space travel using wormholes, but the only drawback is that it can send them forward or backwards in time. So this couple, these two humans are a couple, they notice an asteroid on its way to hit the Earth, and they're able to stop the asteroid by using the spaceship's engines to blast it out of the trajectory. Of course, it sends them back in time. They notice from their viewpoint that the Earth is the size of a baseball, and the continents on the planet are shaped as if it was in the Cretaceous period. So they backtrack using their wormhole technology, and they look at the baseball-sized planet again, and they notice the continents are back to their original shape from their timeline. So they land on the planet after backtracking, and they end up landing in the water. A giant ship, kind of ancient looking ship on the water, picks them up. There are a bunch of humans on there. They don't speak their language. It's like a Latin variant. When they land on the ship, a giant dinosaur comes out of the water and is staring at them for mad long. And they're freaking out. But the humans are like, nah, chill, you're good. This is a zoo. And the couple's like, wow, oh my god, you guys domesticated dinosaurs? Humans are such a peak civilization. And the guy looks confused. He's like, no, we are in a zoo. They're the ones who built this zoo, and we are the animals in the zoo. So they start freaking out, losing their shit. Crazy, right? There's a little more to the story that I left out, like the fact that the dinosaurs in the civilization, they worship this god that saved them from being destroyed by a meteorite in the Cretaceous period. It turns out that this god is obviously the human couple. There's also mentions of dinosaur architecture, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, this is definitely a cool addition to the DinoVerse.
Great stuff.
Yeah, this is good.
Great stuff. Oh yeah.
Well, we've made it this far. Thank you for tuning in to this DinoVerse breakdown. I really did enjoy these stories. Truly, if I was to pick my favorite one, it would probably be the Devourer. These other stories only made that story much better for me. Yeah, if you haven't checked out any of Cixin Liu's work, check out his work. It is amazing. He's probably one of my favorite authors in this genre, and is a very inspirational creator overall. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and have a good one. Till next time.